Both of my best friends' cars each got stolen out of their driveways in the last month.
We had multiple people that we interviewed in just a span of 15 minutes know somebody or themselves personally that had their car stolen by the Kia boys.
I know people who got like 200 car thefts, 300 car thefts.
What? And are you scared of potentially ever going to jail? You ever think about that?
You only gonna do like 3 weeks shit. It's a misdemeanor.
While you may know this information, I posted about it on my Instagram stories and so many people had not. Couldn't believe the amount of people in my DMs saying that they had never heard of this or that they didn't know that this was a thing. So if you didn't know, there is an epidemic right now of car theft going on. From what I understand, over 70 cars per day are stolen in Washington state.
Over 30,000 cars have been reported stolen in Washington state just so far this year.
According to data from the Puget Sound Auto Theft Task Force, the number of cars stolen in King and Pierce County slightly lowered during the month of September, but they say they still saw an average of about 71 auto thefts a day. During the month of September, over 1,400 cars were reported stolen in King County and over 700 in Pierce County.
That's a lot of stolen vehicles.
I think that the numbers are kind of high.
Officials say Kia and Hyundais are highly sought after.
It didn't used to be this way. A trend came out on TikTok of showing how easy it is to steal. Specifically, Kias and Hyundais are very easily stolen with a USB cable. There's a group of people, they call themselves the Kia boys, and they're stealing Kias.
Could you show us how it looks to steal a car?
I can show you inside your car.
Look at these dumbass Kia boys. Oh my God.
Now, not every car theft is a Kia boy and not every car theft is a Kia or a Hyundai. Kias and Hyundais are one of the more affordable options for people when it comes to cars. And so the amount of people that have these vehicles is staggering.
The cars that are being stolen the most, pretty much everywhere right now, is Kias and Hyundais of all different makes and models.
I worry because that's what kind of car I have.
Officials say drivers should consider using an anti-theft device and strongly encourage those living in apartments to make this a priority because complexes are a top target.
And it has been a humongous headache for both of my friends dealing with this. One of them was about a month ago. It was stolen directly out of her driveway. There's many awful parts about it. Not only your vehicle being stolen, but all of the things that were potentially in it, like all of her car seats were in there. Cut the seat belts in order to throw the car seats out so they could fit all of the Kia boys in the vehicle. The car has been deemed a total loss because it's not like they just steal it and drive it around for soccer practice. They drive it around and they totaled it.
So it's become somewhat of a game, even though there's nothing funny about it.
It's a trend on TikTok, a how-to on stealing Kias and Hyundais.
Then you started with a charger piece, like this.
We told you about the so-called Kia boys last week.
I was parked right here.
This woman's Kia Sportage was stolen from an East Side Detroit driveway, and all they use, a USB cable, usually taken right from the car itself.
Do not leave your USB port visible inside of your cars. You're almost giving them an extra key.
The numbers staggering. In Detroit alone, in July, just Kias and Hyundais, 150 were stolen. And in August, so far, 28.
My other friend has not yet found her vehicle. This was just like about 4 days ago, hers was stolen, and it's been a huge headache for both of them. It's cost them a lot financially. My one friend, all 4 of her kids' car seats were in there, gone. My other friend had a bunch of her work things in there, sunglasses, car glasses, like driving glasses, uniforms for school. The things that you don't think about being a problem, the really pain in the ass stuff to replace, that's happening to their family. That doesn't include having to file a claim with your insurance. So certain vehicles are at more high risk for stealing.
Only those Hyundai and Kia models that utilize a key, the ones that have the push button start, are unaffected by this.
George Glassman, who owns Glassman Kia, says they're inundated with repairs on these. So much so, some of the parts are backlogged, delaying repairs.
Are these cars up to safety standards and do they meet all the requirements?
Yeah, all the cars meet federal and state safety guidelines.
The manufacturer is working on a fix.
USB turns them on. That's it. It's as simple as that.
If you own a Hyundai or a Kia, there is a class action lawsuit currently with these vehicles. It's not all vehicles, but it's quite a bit. Through this class action lawsuit, they are paying for upgrades to security systems on those vehicles. Not only that, there will also help paying for increased insurance premiums. There's companies right now that are non-renewing these vehicles if you have insurance with specific companies out there. But a lot of the other companies that are keeping these vehicles insured are increasing the premiums because of the increased risk.
Last month, Hyundai and Kia agreed to a $200 million settlement due to this epidemic of theft. The secret to the Kia BOYZ lies inside the steering columns of Kias manufactured between 2011 and 2021, and Hyundai's built between 2015 and 2021. After breaking the window and prying open the steering columns, a curious Kia boy can use the victim's own phone charger to start the car, a procedure that is disturbingly unsophisticated.
The steering column was ripped apart, the ignition switch busted. Whoever had it did take it on a joyride around town.
While he had it, he drove it over 200 miles.
The Kia BOYZ aren't a gang in the formal sense. It's more of a blanket term for any teenager who steals Kias and Hyundais for joyrides. Most of them are said to be between the ages of 12 to 15. The Kia BOYZ are more about stealing a car. They drive it around and then crash it, or they'll drive it around for a few days or a few weeks and then dump it and steal another car. In addition to the hassles of lacking a vehicle, victims have to battle insurance providers. Detective Beard said insurance companies are starting to deny claims if the stolen vehicle wasn't processed for fingerprints. Cars that are totaled by the Kia BOYZ are rarely processed for prints due to the high frequency of thefts. Insurance companies use this lack of processing for fingerprints as a loophole. We've seen several insurance companies now call us and say, hey, they didn't have a car processed? No? Okay, well then we're going to deny their claim. So it falls back on the victim. Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein claims the car manufacturers intentionally sold vehicles that lacked safety features like engine immobilizers and sensors to detect window glass breakage. He says, for years, Kia and Hyundai cut corners and sold vehicles they knew were so unsafe that they could be stolen with ease by a teenager with access to simple tools and a TikTok account, he said in a statement. Kia and Hyundai's negligence in pursuit of corporate profit is unconscionable. In response to their self-induced woes, the car manufacturers shrugged their shoulders. In a statement, Kia said, it's unfortunate that criminals are using social media to target vehicles without engine immobilizers in a coordinated effort. They concluded defensively, emphasizing that all of our vehicles meet or exceed federal motor vehicle safety standards. Kia and Hyundai started offering security kits, but the installation costs thousands.
A Cobb County man has a warning for fellow Kia owners. We told you issues with the cars that make them an easy target for thieves.
A software update was supposed to fix that, but this man says his Kia was stolen right from his driveway, even with the update.
So like I said, it's not just the car itself, which is thousands and thousands of dollars to replace if you're going to. But the reality is that because the car was so inexpensive in the first place, likely it was a Kia or a Hyundai, they're very inexpensive as far as cars are concerned. You're not going to be able to afford something else like a Honda, Toyotas, Nissans. They're way more expensive. What are you going to go buy? Another Kia? Well, you can't because those are going to get stolen. So you're having to upgrade your vehicle and spend way more money because of these thefts. Things that were in her car: toys, winter coat, blankets, sunglasses, car seats, purse, eyeglasses, computer bags, backpacks, uniforms. So on top of that, now having to get a rental car. That rental car is not fully covered by insurance because she needs a large one for her family and they only cover $30 per day. So out of pocket is having to come hundreds of dollars for the insurance and the fees that go in with renting a car. The money on top of that to get a car that will fit their family is like an additional $20 per day, and not everybody can afford that. So this video, I'm making this mostly as a PSA because so many people in my DMs had never heard of this before. I hadn't heard of it either. When my friend Marie, her car got stolen about a month ago, and I had never heard of this before. And I was like, what is a Kia boy? And everyone was like, you've never heard of this? And I had never. And I own a Kia. So I just want people to be aware that if you own one of these type of vehicles, you are gonna wanna get at least a steering wheel lock. You can get them from Amazon. I'm gonna have links down in the description of this video. It is, if nothing else, a visual deterrent that makes people maybe not want to try to steal it because it's not gonna be as easy and fun to steal and crash.
In the meantime, Lieutenant Clive Stewart with Detroit Police recommends a secondary alarm system. If that's too expensive, there's options.
What's the most economical one?
I would say the club and the column lock. The one that goes right around the neck of the steering column to where the ignition housing is at.
That old school club, you remember those, and the steering column lock runs anywhere from $50 to $100. The lieutenant says if a thief sees one of those on your car, they're likely going to keep on moving.
The night that my friend Marie's was stolen, 4 other vehicles that same evening were reported stolen. It is like one after another. And I even have seen people online where this has happened to them and they get their vehicle back and then it gets stolen again. From what I understand, you can talk to a dealership, and if you are one of the vehicles that is more at risk of being stolen, you can take it in and they will put like an anti-theft device in for you, or they will give you like some sort of security upgrade to where it's not going to be stolen. I will try to have any relevant information in the description of this video so that if you are looking for helpful information in regards to what to do for your vehicle, I will have that listed down below. But all I know is that at least a steering wheel lock is a visual deterrent that, hey, there's something going on here. These people have made somewhat of an effort to make this car more difficult to steal, and they might move on to another vehicle. Unfortunately, this is happening at like such an alarming rate. A lot of the people that are doing it are extremely young. I know that my friend's vehicle, some of the kids were as young as 12 and 13. It has cost my friends both thousands of dollars to have their vehicles either recovered or have to find a new vehicle in the meantime. You're on a very short time frame as well. I know that the car rental places are only giving them 20 days. Who can figure out their entire life in 20 days? Great question. I don't know anyone. One of my friends that this has happened to, they was given an amount of money by their insurance so they can get a new vehicle. It doesn't even come close to the amount that they will need to get a new vehicle. I just wanted to make this video so that we can all protect ourselves and have it not happen to you. I don't know about anybody else's states, but at least I know in Seattle itself, people aren't getting arrested for this. Like, people aren't getting in trouble, and so why wouldn't they do it? Kia has now developed an anti-theft software for some of its models, including the K5, the Optima, the Sportage. Those updates can be installed free of charge, they say. But for models like the Kia Forte, there is no update available yet. This article was written 8 months ago, so maybe things have changed now. If you own one of the Kias that the update is not available for, you can purchase something called an immobilizer, which protects a car from being hot-wired and stolen by someone who doesn't have a key to start the engine. Another option is to get a club to put on the steering wheel, which locks the steering wheel and prevents thieves from successfully turning the wheel altogether, which is what we have.
You can imagine John Cameron is beyond relieved to have his 2015 Kia Sorento back. The thieves left behind quite a bit of evidence, including the tools they used. This happened a little more than a month after he got the software update Kia released that was supposed to fix the vulnerability.
We thought the upgrade would keep it from being stolen.
It didn't.
There's a little tab inside the ignition switch that just slides over and they can turn.
He says the car was locked and the key was not inside. The software update was supposed to make sure that the key is in the ignition in order for it to start.
Disbelief.
Send this to anybody that you know that has a Kia. I'm sure that most people know about it, but if you did not, now you do. And I hope this video was somewhat helpful for you. If you have any information that would be useful for people that if you have dealt with this in the past, you guys can leave them down in the comments. That would be great so that people can know what to do if this does happen to them. I hope this doesn't happen to you, but didn't think it was going to happen to both of my friends, and yet here we are. All right, well, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you at my next video.